country will cease to exist. For those who believe that the forces of oppression will prevail, for those who believe that there are, in fact, some second-class citizens in this country, we say that those days are gone.
Ekiti State is not left out in the celebrations, as it is also marking its 17th year of existence. The governor, Kayode Fayemi, speaks with optimism of a bright future for the state.
We have nothing to celebrate, nothing to show for more than 5 decades of independent nation. To me, this assertion is clearly an exaggeration, because I know that our tomorrow is bound to be better than our today.
A feeling of hope is what these kind of gatherings bring. Ultimately, what will bring a lasting joy is when the words said here are matched with actions.
Well, to Nigerians living in diaspora are constantly disappointed with the state of the nation, it's no longer enough to sit by the sidelines and complain. It is time to join the process of change one way or the other. This is the opinion of some Nigerians in the United Kingdom who gathered to commemorate the nation's 53rd independence. Our correspondent in the United Kingdom, Doris Okenwa, reports.
Over 50 years ago, Nigeria gained independence from Britain and today stands as a sovereign nation, challenges notwithstanding. The Nigerian High Commission pulled together diplomats and Nigerian citizens in London to commemorate this occasion. This Independence Day anniversary is practically coming on the eve of Nigeria's centenary, 100 years of nationhood. But what exactly is worth celebrating, many ask? Insecurity or underdevelopment? Well, unity seems like a good enough reason for these folks here.
What the country requires is the continuous support and understanding of the international community in general.
We're very happy that despite of all the challenges, despite of all the problems in the country, Nigeria is still one.
The next level is development really of the country, particularly the infrastructural aspect of development in the country.
The blame game over who is responsible for the current state of the nation is a never-ending process. From blaming Western powers to failed leadership and more. But whose responsibility is it to make things right?
It's all about giving back to the country. It's all about us doing something back to Africa. It's all about putting our heads together, making sure our kids don't sit down on the floor to read.
From the man who cleans the street to the man who occupies the office of the president, the life of every Nigerian needs to be important to those who make decisions in the country.
In the diaspora, we're working on some ideas to help bring Nigeria back to the path of sanity.
One of the highlights of President Jonathan's Independence Day speech, quoting him, is that every Nigerian, both home and abroad, wants a country they can be proud to call their own. Well, for those abroad, issues of insecurity, corruption, impunity, underdevelopment is not something that particularly inspires confidence. And these issues must be addressed beyond mere words, but with corresponding actions. Doris Okenwa, Channels Television News, London.
The United Kingdom is once again assuring Nigerians that a controversial visa bond of £3,000 is not in force. The Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Peter Carter, says that the issue is still being debated by ministers in the UK. He also says that the UK is willing to work with Nigeria to fight terrorism.
No change to our visa service. There is no change to our visa policy at the moment. We've all heard about this so-called visa bond that I have certainly had to answer many, many questions about in the last 2 months or so. It does not exist. It is a policy proposal which ministers in Britain are still considering. So at the moment there is no visa bond, there is no requirement on anybody to pay £3,000 or any other thousands of pounds to get a British visa. You go through all the normal procedures that so many Nigerians are familiar with. The government is certainly looking at ways to deter those who are tempted to overstay their visa, not just in Nigeria. This is a problem we have with many countries, and it's the responsible thing to do to look at how we encourage those we want to come to the United Kingdom and make sure that those who are less inclined to obey the rules to think twice before coming to the UK. But we would be really, really stupid, frankly, if we said, oh no, you can only come if you pay £3,000. That will never, never happen. On terrorism, we have been working very closely with the federal government to provide support, advice and assistance, which we hope will help the Nigerian government tackle the serious problems in the north of the country. That's in our interests as well as Nigeria's interests, because we have a shared commitment to ensuring our own security, to ensuring this region's security, and we're both threatened by Islamic fundamentalism, indeed fundamentalism of any sort.
Still to come on News Track, Italy's Prime Minister is in the eye of the storm. We'll tell you more about it on the foreign scene.
And in the world of sports, Nigeria's Golden Eaglets are in the final stages of preparations for the World Cup.
Join us again.
At first, it's only anticipation that something is about to happen. This is one thing that makes life interesting, to compete not only with players across the field, but across the world. It makes me feel joy when we win and sorrow when we lose. The action and reaction, colliding, falling, dropping, despite the odds. I love it because it brings me tears, tears of victory, tears of joy. The skill that leads to the pass that leads to the shot that leads to the goal that determines the ultimate. Channel Sports, defining the moment of true sport.
Nigeria is not doing badly as a nation, and the present administration is determined to continue to do all it can to put the economy on the right track.
And these are strong words for the nation's #1 citizen during his Independence Day speech. President Goodluck Jonathan gave Nigerians the assurance that despite the security and social challenges in the country, the federal government is still committed to tackle poverty and corruption.
In our journey to greatness as a nation, we have built an economy that is robust, erected enduring infrastructure and institutions of democracy. Our social system is now more inclusive, open and compassionate. We are waging a steady battle against poverty, unemployment, and corruption. Our sense of community, solidarity, and shared expectation is strong and capable of withstanding the present social, economic, and political challenges that still confront us. In saying this, I am reminded of the comments I made a week ago to a cross-section of